This video is yoga with props. Hi, my name is Jessie, and today it is Star Wars Day. It is May 4th, so may the 4th be with you. In honor of it, I'm wearing my Star Wars leggings. And we are going to do a practice today, and we're going to do a lot of the basic poses that we normally do, but we're going to introduce an element where we use props for all of them. To do bound angle pose. Now this pose, you can stack your feet up on top of blocks. Do this pose, you want to bring the soles of your feet together. Maybe starting with one, just to see where you're at. Traditionally in this pose, what we want to do is loop our hands around our toes. We want to push our heels together and engage our glutes. This is going to be the action that we take in order to get our knees closer to the ground. If you want, you can stack another block up on top. Now, the father of modern yoga in the United States is Iyengar, and Iyengar used blocks to get his feet up so that eventually he could put his heels, like his, so that eventually he could take his right heel and put it up on his right chest. So if that's one of your goals in life, now you know how to get there. Just keep pulling those heels in close to you. Make sure you're sitting up tall. We don't want to compromise the position of our body in order to do so. If you find yourself leaning back or slouching, then you want to remove one of the blocks that you're using or adjust it in some way. Nice work. Slowly bring your feet down. Bring the block up to the front of the mat. Just make your way to your hands and knees. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. On the next in-breath, we're going to bring the right foot forward. Just set it down on top of the block. Scoot that left leg back. Leaving the left hand on the mat just to see the difference between how this pose normally feels and how much deeper you can go into the pose this way. Just letting that left hip sink into the floor, bringing the left shoulder forward, the right shoulder back. Maybe bring that right arm up, pulling the right hip back. Nice work. Come back down, just let your left hip sink further into the pose. And remove that block. And then we're going to take both of the blocks, or one if you need to, and then we're going to just slowly stretch that right leg out. Make your way to half splits. When we do this pose, we want this right leg straight. We want to have the left hip in line with the left knee, and we're just going to fold forward over that right leg. Keeping our head lifted so we aren't rounding our spine. Just allowing ourselves to relax and release into the pose. Reaching through the ball of the big toe, the inner heel, as you pull the pinky toe back towards you. Just letting go. See if you can fold a little further into the pose. Nice. And then just come back. Back to your hands and knees. Set up the block so that that left foot is on top of the left block. Or the right block, I guess it doesn't matter. It's just a block, huh? Leaving the right hand on the floor. allowing your hips to sink into the pose. And then maybe bringing the right shoulder forward, the left shoulder back. Bring that left arm up. Allowing yourself to twist to the left. Drop that hand down. Set the left foot on the mat, and then grab both blocks if you need to, and stretch out that left leg. Get the left leg straight. Double check that right leg. Make sure the hip's in line with the knee, and you're folding forward over that left leg, reaching through the ball, the big toe, the inner heel. Pull the pinky toe back towards you. Just being easy about it. And keep the head lifted. Make sure you're not rounding the spine. Nice. Come back to center. Set the blocks down. We are going to do downward facing dog, but we're going to put our hands on the blocks in order to do so. So make sure the hands are right under the shoulders. With your hands in your blocks, you can look back behind you, make your feet disappear so that your body's nice and lined up. Try to have the hands, the knees, and the feet all on the same plane. Tuck the toes under. Push the mat away with the hands. Spin the elbows down towards the ground. Let the head hang heavy. And push your heels towards the floor. Now this may be a whole new experience for you. I know that I struggle to get my heels close to the floor. This is a much more intense stretch on your calves, if that's something that you struggle with as well. Come to plank, or kneeling plank if you need to. And then as we hang out here in plank, we're going to tuck the tailbone down. Try to have the head, the neck, the back, the heels all in a nice line. And then squeeze the elbows into the sides. Just transition to up dog. Staying on your blocks. Letting the shoulder blades slide down the back, opening up the chest. All 10 toenails are pushed into the ground. Notice the difference right now compared to how normal down dog or up dog is. And then roll over on the toes if you're able to. Make your way back to downward facing dog. See if you can get your heels to the floor. If you have tight calves and hamstrings, then it's a real challenge. You might not be able to, and that's okay. Everybody's at a different spot. And then just walk your feet forward. Grab a block here to go into a forward fold. Just rest your hands on that block. You might need to bend your knees, maybe not. Just walk it out. Bend one leg as you straighten the other. And then slowly roll yourself up, root to rise. Arms come up over the head, bring them to prayer position. Exhale, drop them down to heart center. Good job. And then we're going to leave the right foot forward. Just step the left foot back. Nice wide stance. Stepping that left foot back, we want to work to line the right heel up with the left heel or arch. We're going to bring our arms out nice and long, and without shifting the hips, just bring that right hand down to the block. Going into a triangle pose. Trikonasana. Bringing the right shoulder forward, the left shoulder back. Working very hard to open up the chest, not allowing ourselves to collapse into the pose. And then drop the left hand down. Bring the right arm up. Revolved triangle pose. Might be easier for you with the block. Slowly return that right hand. Now we are going to do half moon pose or attempt it. So just bring the right foot back a smidge, bring the block out right past the toes, use the right hand to stay on the block, activate those left toes. So take the toes, instead of pointing them, pull them in. And then just slowly, with control, we're going to bring that left arm up. Make sure the right toes are pointed straight in front of you. Working to bring the right shoulder forward, the left shoulder back. If you're in this pose and you're finding it impossible to keep your balance, go to a wall. This is prop day, remember? Right toes point forward. Bring that block right in front of the right toes. This can also help you with your alignment because you are forced to open up this left hip. Pull the toes in towards you. Good job. Come out of it. Switch sides. Step the right foot back, left foot comes forward. Arms come out nice and long. And then without shifting the hips, just bring that left hand down to the block. Trikonasana. Or if you want, you can work on doing extended triangle pose. Bringing your hand up by your foot, just depending on where your flexibility lies, honoring your body. Trying to have your arms lined up with your shoulders. Look up at your hand to help you keep your balance. Working to take this right hip here and open it up. And then just bring the right hand back down to the block. Lifting the left arm up. Revolved triangle pose. Good job. Drop that hand back down, and then we're going to step the left foot back. We want to make sure the big toe of this left foot points forward. We're going to lift the right leg up using the block to help us support ourselves. We're going to pull the toes of that right foot in. Make sure the standing leg is straight. Keep that right foot flexed. That'll help you keep your balance. Now, if you're in this pose and you're finding it impossible to keep your balance, go to the wall. Left side now, just bring that right leg out. Flex the foot by pulling the toes in towards you. Lifting up out of the pose. Try to get that right hip up against the wall. The arms are in line with the shoulders. You can look up at that hand. Both of your shoulders should be on the wall. Using the wall for half moon pose is an incredible way to work on your alignment. Good job. Now we're going to take both of our blocks, bring them back to the front of the mat, set them down so that they're flat on the floor. Bring the arms up. Lift and lengthen, hands to prayer position. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold forward. Place both of your hands on the blocks. And then just step back, forward, downward facing dog. Hips come up, shoulders come down. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. Push a lot of your weight to the fleshy part between the first finger and the thumb. Spin your elbows towards the ground. Come forward to plank or kneeling plank. Tuck the tailbone down and then slowly make your way to up dog. All 10 toenails push into the ground, shoulder blades slide down. Push the hands into the mat to activate the wrists. job. And then make your way to a seated position. We're only going to need one block here. You can stretch out the right leg, bend the left leg. One trick that you can do is to take the block and place it back behind your foot if you're able to reach. Making sure we're not rounding the spine. Lifting the head to make sure we aren't doing so. Just resting that left hand on the right leg. Nice work. Switch sides, stretch out the left leg, bend that right leg. Using the block to help activate that left foot, just gently resting that right hand on the left leg, making sure you're not rounding your spine as you do this. Grounding that left leg into the mat. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. Excellent work. And then we're going to take the block and we're going to put it on our spine. We want to have it right about here so that we can open up our shoulder blades and let the head fall back, making sure that we're not impeding our head coming back as we go into a supported fish pose. Just have the arms stretched out along our sides, palms facing up. Let the head fall back. Adjust the block if you need to. Make sure that it's not impeding your ability to open up your chest. Hi, Tomcat. Just inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. Feeling your throat open up. Noticing how open your heart feels right now. And with your next exhale, release. Just let it all go. Slowly come out of the pose. Grab your block. Make your way to your back. And we are going to take the block and put it under our sacrum. We're going to go into bridge pose. Once you lift your hips up, don't turn your head to the side. So bring the hips up. Make sure your big toes are pointing forward. Your feet are in alignment with your hips. They're right under your knees. Push your heels into the floor, lift the hips up, and then just place that block right under your sacrum. Open up the chest. You can just release, relax into it. Now, this is a really good starting point right here. You may feel inspired to take the block and turn it up like this, if you have that good of a range of motion. So maybe give that a try. Adjusting the block if it starts to move on you. And then another add-on that you can do is to stretch out your legs. See if you can keep your shoulders on the ground and get your legs straight. Now, straight means straight. Maybe point your toes, see if that helps. Good job. Now bend your knees. Push your heels to the floor, lift up so that you can move the block. And then bring both knees to the chest. Our first prop-free pose. Just rock from side to side. Grab the backs of the legs. Make your way to a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a really good time playing around with the props in this practice. If you haven't already, please subscribe, check me out on Instagram, and like and leave a comment and let me know what you thought of this class. Until next time, may love and light be yours. Namaste.